So Lorac Cosmetics have brought out a brand new eyeshadow palette for Christmas 2014. They already have the original Pro palette, which is black in packaging and contains colours such as golds and bronzes and just generally a warm tone palette. Then earlier on this year they brought out the Lorac Pro 2, which comes in the silver packaging and is more geared towards the cooler end of the spectrum with some cool greys, silvers, charcoals, and they've also added in some deep jewel tone colours such as plums, navies and a jade colour, which is really interesting on the right hand side of the palette. Here is the brand new Lorac Pro Mega Palette. What a beauty! So this video is going to be all about my thoughts, swatches, a little bit of a dupe comparison because it is limited edition and very hard to come by, particularly if you live overseas like I do in the UK. And finally, stay tuned to the end because I am going to be doing a tutorial on one of my favourite looks. And here is the beautiful palette. It has the same rubberized casing as the previous two palettes, similar to the NARS packaging if you're familiar with that. It definitely isn't groundbreaking and won't win any awards in terms of its uniqueness. Personally, I would have liked Lorac to have done something a little bit different, something along the lines of the Urban Decay Naked 2 palette where they have more of a robust casing and more of a secure lock, but it's sleek and it definitely does work. I also love the colour, which is very appropriate for Christmas. It's fastened with the same magnetic closure, it's not the most secure, and if I was travelling I would be a little bit sceptical to take this with me just on the basis because it just makes the palette look a little bit flimsy. It is, however, super sleek, and considering this houses 32 eyeshadows, it's the same width as the Pro palette. In fact, the overall size is probably the equivalent of having the two original Pro palettes put together. So enough about palette rambling, let's move on to what's inside. So when you first open the palette, you can see a mirror that runs near enough the full length of the inside lid. This makes it ideal for travelling. I would quite happily use this as my only mirror and feel comfortable doing my whole face makeup. You've also got the plastic protector. There are 32 eyeshadow colours, 16 of them matte, 16 of them shimmers, covering a whole range of textures, mattes, satins, shimmers and even a glitter is all covered in this palette. Only 4 of these are re-promotes, and that is cream, white, Expresso and black, but considering these are my basics, I don't mind owning 2 of them. So let's move on to the swatches. So the first row are all mattes. The first one was cream and was featured in the Lorac original palette. It's a pale Brighton beige with warm undertones. Next we have Fawn, and it's a light peach beige with warm undertone. Next we have Camel, which is a medium dark orange with almost a hint of a tan brown colour, but again very warm. We have Sepia, and this is a dupe in my opinion to MAC Soft Brown. Side note, if you want to know about my full-on rave about Soft Brown, then please click on my first video. I probably have a complete love affair with it for about 2 minutes, so go ahead and check that out. They're both very orange based browns. If I'm being completely critical, Sepia is a little bit more brown as opposed to orange, but they're very dupeable. Next we have Dusty Plum, which is a muted medium dark plum. Again, it's got a little bit of warm undertones to it. Next we have our first cool colour, which is Orchid, and this is a lavender pink. We've got another cool colour, which is Mulberry, and this is a medium dark berry red matte. Finally we have Expresso, which was featured in the Lorac original palette, which is a dark brown with slight cool undertones. Moving on to the second row, we have White, which as the name suggests is a stark white colour with very cool undertone. Next we have Khaki, which is a softened light medium brown with a hint of grey, again leaning towards the cooler undertones. Next we have Brown, which is a medium yellow tones brown. Again, these all have matte finishes. Then we've got Stone, which is a muted greyed purple. Then we've got Lilac, which is a light medium cool tones lavender. Next we have Wisteria, which is a muted medium brown with a hint of grey, again a cool undertone. Then we have Grey, which is a muted bluish teal. It's a really unusual colour and I don't have anything like it in my collection. Lastly we have Black, which was featured in both the Lorac 1 and the Lorac 2. It's a semi-sheer colour. I wouldn't say it was anything really pigmented. Something between a halfway point between Carbon and Makeup Geek's Corrupt. It's got a little bit more pigmentation than Carbon, but not as much as Corrupt, which is probably the blackest black on the market. If anything, it's a little bit on the warm side, but again, a black is a black. Then we move on to the more shimmery colours. So the first colour we have is Opal, which is a warm toned white gold with a frosted finish. We have Sand, which is a light medium yellow gold. It's got warm undertones and almost a metallic sheen. The third one across is Copper, which in my opinion, the name is slightly misleading. For me, it's more of a amber colour, similar to MAC Amber Lights if you have that. Again, really dupeable. Then we have Sienna, which is a medium brown with warm undertones and a soft frosted sheen. This one's got a great payoff actually. We have Apricot. It's a brightened pop of tangerine orange with warm undertones. It's got a frosted finish. We have Blush, which is a light pink with warm yellow undertones and a frosted finish. Merlot, which is incredible, and it is a medium dark, warm toned plum, again with a metallic sheen. Lastly, we have the only real glitter colour in the palette, which is Indigo. It is a blackened navy blue with blue sparkle over it, almost a matte finish. The weird thing about this is that the sparkle sits on top of the actual eyeshadow, so it makes it a little bit hard to blend the colour in. And then finally, the last row, we're on the home stretch now. We've got Vanilla, which is a warm white with yellowy undertones and a frosted finish. Cashmere, which is a muted yellow gold with a metallic finish. We have Smoky Topaz, which is a medium dark golden bronze with a warm undertone and a metallic finish. Dusty Rose, which is a muted rosy brown with warm undertones. Granite, which is a rich dark bronze brown, and again all these are shimmers. Maroon is a medium dark reddish bronze with warm undertones. Deep Teal is a blackened green. It's almost leaning towards teal. This has warm undertones. And the last but not least is Caviar. Now Caviar is a medium dark black with a subtle sheen to it. So I hope you're still with me after all those swatches. Okay, so this is my first time using the palette. It's looking a little bit worse for wear because I've just done my swatches and they are quite powdery. So I'm going to first go in with the shade Fawn, which is this one right here. And I'm going to use that on a Sigma Tapered Blending, which is an E40. And I'm just going to put this as a slight transition colour. It's not going to make a massive difference, but it's just going to act as a really nice blending colour. So I'm just going to put this lightly in my crease and slightly blending it. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. These shadows are really highly pigmented and they're really buttery, but I will say that they are quite powdery. This is just the state of them, and I've brushed them a little bit, but this is just the state that they are in after just one swatch, so I can tell that there will be a lot of fallout with some of the colours. Sorry, I'm just starting on the next colour. The next colour I'm doing is Camel, and I'm just deepening up my crease. I'm not really too sure what kind of look I'm going for yet. I'm just sort of seeing what colours work well with each other. And then when I've got nothing on the brush, I'm just going to blend slowly up. Okay, I think in true form, I think I'm going to take the colour Sepia, which is the colour next to Camel. So I've used Fawn, Camel and Sepia so far. And I'm going to swap my brush, blending the E35, so it's slightly smaller, but it's kind of does the same job. Make it a little bit more precise. And I'm going to take this lower down. I'm just putting this directly in my crease as opposed to just above it. So now that I've got my usual transition colours, I'm then going to go with an all over lid colour, and I think I'm going to take the shade Copper, which is this one here, and I'm just going to place that on a MAC 239. let's deepen the crease a little bit more first. Let's take Expresso. What I'm going to do is I'm going to build up my colour and then have a little bit of fun with some of the colours. I might take purple, because normally most of my looks are quite neutral, so I might do a little bit of fun. I do like Expresso. Okay, I'm going to take a MAC 219 and the colour Merlot. I'm just going to place this, I'm just going to look off a little bit because my natural light's over here, and I'm just going to place this a little bit on the outer edges and a little bit in the crease. I'm going to mix it with mulberry. Do the same on the other side. And then take my MAC 219 again and just make sure that that's all nice and blended in. I might take that pencil brush again. I know it's got a little bit of that mulberry and Merlot colour, so I'm going to continue with the Merlot, but I'm also going to add in a little bit of that Expresso. I'm going to layer that on top, and I'm just going to put this slightly, I say slightly, I'm just going to put this in my lower lash line. Kind of just add to that smoky look. It's a little bit too much, so I'm going to take a little bit away because it is a bit harsh. I'm going to use two mascaras today. The first is going to be L'Oreal False Lash Flutter. I think this is L'Oreal. Yep, L'Oreal Paris. It doesn't say if it's the waterproof one or not, it just says Butterfly Wing Effect Fibres, so I'm excited to try this one. And then I'm also going to use my faithful Maybelline Falsies. It's got a really unusual wand. It basically looks like a butterfly, kind of a little bit curved, as you can see, and just really unusual. As always, I'm going to start with my bottom lashes first. And then go on to my top lashes. Oh, and I forgot to say, I might look a little bit weird because I've only done mascara on this side and this bottom one. But if you want to see what my face makeup is, it's basically the same as my previous video, which is, I think it was called my autumn makeup look, what's in my autumn makeup bag, so go ahead and check that one out if you want to know what I've been rocking on my face. The only thing different is that I'm using a different foundation. Today I am using I think it's called Rimmel Lasting Finish or Lasting Perfection. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but I will link it down below. And I think I'm going to add the Maybelline Falsies just for that added dramatic effect, because I'm not using false eyelashes today. Much smaller wand, it's curved. I'm not sure if you can see it, maybe you can see it on my forehead a little bit better. And this is the finished eye look. This lipstick is MAC's Rebel. So the main question, if you own Lorac 1 or Lorac 2, do you really need the Lorac Mega Pro palette? I'm just going to go straight in and answer it. It's not a need per se, but if you are a makeup junkie like I am, or a palette lover, you are going to want this in your collection. It's very warm in tones, there are some cool shades in there, but it's generally geared more to the warmer end of the spectrum. So if you like those colours or like similar palettes such as the Naked Original, the Lorac 1, this is going to be ideal for you. The shades itself are very dupable, and with exception to khaki, grey and orchid, you probably have something in your collection already. But the exclusivity of this alone is going to really make this a want for you. So if you do have the chance of owning this, please do not pass it up. And that's it for this video, so I really hope you enjoyed. It's a little bit different for me. I don't usually really do palette reviews, and as you can see in my past videos I haven't done one similar. If you did like this style of video, please do get in touch with me on my various social platforms, which will be linked all the way down below. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, and of course in the comment section below, and I'll be sure to get that up for you soon. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you all in my next video. Take care. Bye bye.